Look up from your telescope, take me on this journey home. I don't wanna wait no more.
What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Vane back again with another amazing All-American video. And in this video, I am breaking down episode 15 from season 1. Let's get into it. Y'all, the last 3 episodes of the season are intense to say the least. Episode 15 picks up with Spencer in a flashback to a moment where he had won a trophy within his football games, and he's sitting with his mom and he's wondering why his father left and why he wasn't there, and Grace can't give him no answers. And we see them use this beautifully to tie back into present day, where we're close up on this trophy that they sat down in the same spot maybe about 5-6 years ago. It's in the same spot now, and then Spencer opens up his door to see Grace and Billy Baker sitting in the living room. As to be expected, Spencer has an attitude. Spencer feels betrayed. He feels disappointed. And they are there trying to, I guess, make amends. They're apologetic. But at the end of the day, they gotta let him process the way he's gonna process, because they were wrong. They kept this from him knowing full well. And Spencer goes ahead and lets them know that, y'all left me in this bad place. Y'all were in a bad place when y'all did this thing, but you left me in this bad place for 8 years, wondering why my dad left, and y'all knew why he left. Come on now. And all you could do is just sit back and watch. It feels like you watching something that you shouldn't be watching, because it's very intense, it's very emotional. It's like, dang, I feel so bad for Spencer right now. But in the meantime, Grace and Billy, y'all stand in it. Now, from there we go to Beverly continuing to win, and they just finished another winning game, which puts them in the running for the state championship. Now they're going to battle South Crenshaw for the state championship. One thing that came to mind to me was how Spencer handles things. He handles things so much better in a lot of ways. In this moment, he's still able to perform, he's still able to play, even though he can't stand Billy right now. Even in how he approaches Billy after he gives his whole little pep talk, he's like, are you going to talk to your kids? He's trying to have empathy, he's trying to have grace for Billy. Jordan would never. Jordan didn't like what happened, and he starts acting out, cutting up, doing all types of stuff, just carrying himself very, very poorly. So I definitely want to commend Spencer for it. Even at the start of the episode, you can see that he's so emotionally not in the right place, but he's still trying to do his best to show up as his best. Now, Billy takes this as an opportunity to continue the lies and continue to not show up as his best, because he tells Spencer, it's not going to do anything to tell my family. All it's going to do is hurt them, and I don't need to do that. He gives this ultimatum then of you got to the end of the week, bro. And honestly, as he should. Spencer's not about to be living in the baker's house and then hiding this big ass secret from all of the bakers except for, no, we're not doing that. After the game, the daddies must have synced up and got it together, because drunk daddy pops up on Asher, as well as Corey pops up on Spencer, trying to play it cool and meet Layla and take them out to dinner and all that. And it's just bruh, I don't know. I guess I get it. He has to figure out something. He gotta apply pressure, because that's the only way that they're actually going to move forward. But I was just watching it Spencer's not going for this. He's not going for this. Sir, you need to pull up, because you're doing too much. And while Spencer is handling some of the things he has to deal with that he might not necessarily be handling so well, is him and Dylan, and not letting Dylan see Corey yet, because Dylan desperately wants to see him. And I definitely think that it was, by the end of the episode, the great choice to let him experience his dad, and let him, even if Corey decides to disappear again or do something, at least he had the time to say whatever he needed to say. At least he was able to connect with him in this moment, and yeah, that needed to happen. So y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and get this out the way right now, because I stand Grace James. I love Grace James down. Even in the episode where we should probably be feeling a way about her, resenting her, right along with Spencer, and disappointed, the conversation that she has with Spencer is just so unearthing of the truth, but grounded in so much love and grace for his feelings. She really put his feelings to the forefront, and then still was able to stand and hold herself accountable. She has one line where she's like, as a parent, you have to make tough decisions, and they're not always going to be the right ones. And even her being able to articulate that, for me, it doesn't absolve her of what she did, right? She definitely lied to Spencer. She carried this lie for a long time. To me, it lessens the blow, because she made a choice, and sometimes we don't make the right choices. I think what's admirable about Grace is that she made a choice. She understands what was selfish about the choice. She understands what her mindset was in making the choice, but she also understands the fallout, and she's not running away from any of the accountability behind the fallout of it. And honestly, I wish more of the adults in this series would do this. Like Billy, I feel like Billy would be so much more relatable or understandable if he stood in his stuff and took ownership of it, but really broke down why and how he got to the place that he got to. He just kind of, it is what it is, and that's it, that's all. And without any real true journey of growth or development in his missteps. And that is unfortunate. And I couldn't even figure out how to say that until I rewatched this episode and saw Grace in this moment being just super vulnerable and leveling with Spencer. Also, there's a lot of hierarchy in reference to parents and children, just in society in general. And the fact that Grace is willing to humble herself to the point of like, I'm no better than you, and that your feelings are valid. I hear you, I see you, I know that you're hurting, and I know that I caused this hurt. So I want to meet you where you're at, and one, give you the explanation that I should have given you before, but also give you the space to feel how you feel and say what you gotta say. We love to see it. Come on, when is the Grace James parenting classes coming? Because she also probably need to go ahead and do the Grace James good people class too, because she's just an all-around awesome person. So y'all can go ahead and jump in the comment section and say how I stand, or I just ride so hard for Spencer and his mama, because I damn do, and they deserve it, and this is why they deserve it. What I enjoyed about this episode though is how they actually have the conversation about Spencer and his dad and Corey coming back and what this potentially looks like. So Corey is going to the baker's house, implying threats about the secrets coming out. When he's talking to Laura, when Billy walked through that door, he liked to have seen a ghost, because Billy just saw his whole life flash before his eyes. And you might want to take his advice, Billy, and go ahead and tell the truth before they find out some other type of way, because either way people gonna get hurt. But it'll be even more hurtful if Laura would have found out about it from anybody else other than you. Billy has a moment where one of the campaign people for Laura's campaign for DA is sitting talking with them, and they're talking about how to make Laura a little bit more relatable, and the twins are stuffing envelopes, and Billy is just looking over and just like, I could see in this, he was playing it like he's negotiating whether he should be honest or not about what happened with Grace in the past. And you could see him reflecting on, if he says something, then all of this goes away. If he doesn't, does he get to keep this? And that's ultimately what keeps him going throughout the episodes and gives him a little bit more pause in reference to whether to be honest or not. Now Corey is going all around dang on neighborhood, popping up on Spencer. Well, he didn't pop up because Spencer invited him to the hangout to talk with him, but is not necessarily ready for the conversation that he has. But the fact that he did have that conversation, I think, is what allowed Spencer to actually be able to have the follow-up conversation with Grace, where she was able to really level with him. Through this episode, we're tracking a few things. We're tracking Spencer and his relationship with Corey and how the communication is happening around that. We're tracking Coop now trying to intervene in reference to the plan to get rid of Tyrone, because you see her preach up talking about Tyrone ain't gotta die, we could just run him out of town. Sis, I don't know what video I said this in, but this is not the Wild Wild West. We do not have horse and carriages. This is not a buggy. Like, no, girl. You put this plan in motion. You knew that he needed to get handled, an eye for an eye. Let Preach do what he got to do. You trying to now insert yourself, it's not going to work for nobody. So we're tracking that. We're tracking Coop, Preach, Tyrone. We're tracking Spencer, his daddy. What's going on with that? The fallout around that. We're also tracking on the very tail end of probably C&D stories in this episode, y'all. It's Asher. Asher's daddy is drunk but back, because Asher's back living with his daddy. And Olivia is trying to help support him and offers to help the dad get a job with Laura, and tries to make a point to Asher about he can't necessarily fix everything for his dad or love him through this, because he has a problem, which Olivia can definitely identify because she's been down this road before in reference to her addiction. Y'all, I feel like, okay, so I'm apologizing in advance that my breakdown is kind of all over the place, because I feel like I'm noticing all of the things that nobody is actually going to notice or care about, and they're sticking out to me like red flags. One of the things that really just got my eyes twitching is that this is the first episode that we actually get to see Olivia and Jordan have a real twin synergy. Like, they have their little inside jokes at the table with the little campaign manager that we couldn't really hear what they saying, but they cracking up. And then when Laura is coming in to tell them what Billy just told her, they in Olivia's room and they kikiing and having a good time. We don't get to see them do this ever. And the one episode that this happens in is the episode episode in which their family is going to get torn apart by the news of Billy's affair with Grace James. I can't. Like, my eye is just twitching. It's just twitching, y'all. Like, why couldn't we have gotten this? I'm gonna have needed the twins to be like 2 episodes ago, be kikiing and cutting up with each other and having their little moments, and then prep us for this. Like, they don't even get to have their little, oh, our family's great, we're supporting each other, yeah, love you, we're so much better. They don't even get to have that for a day, maybe a day and a half at the max, before everything comes crumbling down. Oh, we hate to see it. And also, Laura did not deserve, not that anybody deserves to get cheated on, but just watching Laura process Billy admitting the affair, and then when she says the fact that you had to go to Grace James to feel whole again, it's not even about the sex. You went to her to feel whole again, not the mother of your children or your wife. I'm just like, Lord, she is wrecking me right now. Like, I cheated on her and I didn't even do nothing. I really didn't. There's a lot happening in this episode, y'all. The thing of least importance that I cared about, the absolute least, was this whole conversation with Coop trying to save Tyrone after she was trying to comfort Tyrone. It's all backwards to me. It made no sense. The fact that she was actually going along with it, gung-ho about it, and all the results from it still annoys me. The fact that she even recruited Spencer to come along for her to talk to Tyrone, to tell him that he need to run because everybody had turned against him. Spencer got other fish to fry. He need to figure out what he's doing with his brother and his father and how he's going to heal and forgive his mama. Like, you dragging him into this BS is crap. And then honestly, y'all, even now that I'm saying this, pop out moment, I'm sorry, not sorry. You had your ass on that pier talking about you needed him to know that you could save yourself. Well, why'd you go get him in one of the most troubling times of his life to have him go run around and do these shenanigans with you about Tyrone? Girl, bye. And if that episode hasn't been enough of what I'm talking about, we get to Chris's party at his house. Olivia and Jordan arrive together, and they're now aware of what has happened in the past, and they got a little bit of anger on their chest, and they definitely express it. Olivia uses it as a reason to come at Layla because Layla didn't tell her after Spencer told her, and Jordan uses it as a way to attack Spencer because Spencer didn't tell him. And it's like, both of y'all need to sit down and chill because it wasn't their place to tell your ass, first of all. Second of all, Jordan, I don't like this energy. It's giving me season 3 energy, and I didn't even register in this moment. Like, I know that you're really upset and you are distraught and you feel disappointed and disillusioned and all that jazz, but I'm gonna need you to redirect your energy for Spencer. I'll tell you one thing, y'all. Season 4, Jordan better get over this and get over it quick, and I bet not see him cross the line with Spencer ever again, because at this point we now need to have the goons out ready to come for Jordan Baker because he be trying Spencer too much. Layla and Olivia, I'm gonna let them have it because they got a lot deep-seated as well. So no, Olivia shouldn't be mad at Layla for not telling her because it wasn't Layla's place to tell her, but we understand where her emotions is. And in all honesty, y'all, both of them are just looking for some place to put their anger, and while they could have used it as a chance to go off on Billy, because you know that's not outside of y'all characters, y'all don't care what y'all parents think or say anything on the way, so you could have just went off on Billy. They decided to venture down to Crenshaw and turn up there. I suppose if that's what we finna do. I think the major takeaway from this party is that it's the second substantial moment where Olivia is pulled to a place to question her sobriety and if she actually would like to stay sober. She tries to drink, but thank God that Asher is there to take the beer away from her. But then that ultimately turns into a big old who's you know what is bigger between Chris and Asher, and they're arguing over who's gonna help her in this moment. Meanwhile, neither one of y'all are helping her. Y'all just getting on her nerves, making stuff worse. Golly, the male ego, y'all be out here, man. Y'all be really out here. Let's say a prayer for him. Okay, y'all, I've totally forgot that Jordan's energy got redirected to Cam in this episode, and I ain't mad at it because he swung on Cam like similar to how he swung on Spencer. So I ain't mad at it, and it makes total sense. And yes, Antonio, I'm giving him a pass for swinging on Cam because what? He made a comment about him being a daddy's boy. Right now, he hates his daddy. This is how it go, and sometimes your face just looks real punchable, so Sarah. Okay, Jordan, you're not just kicking this energy dispenser. I can get with it as long as we evenly dispersing it a little bit. And y'all, I'm really just still trying to process the end of the episode. When we come out of the episode, we're at a place with Spencer where he's on a healing and forgiveness journey, and he's in a much more open place than a lot of the other people in the series. So the James family is having dinner. Corey is there. Spencer has allowed Dylan to actually see his father, and they're figuring it out. They're going to try to move forward and figure it out. But over on the Baker side, they are taking photos for Laura's campaign, but it's completely fake. Like, they're only doing it not because they are choosing to move forward, but because Laura needs this for her career. And in it, the kids are doing it to really just support Laura. You can see Olivia, pull Laura's hand into her lap when Billy tries to touch her shoulder and she doesn't want to. So you can see that Olivia is making a huge statement of standing up and supporting her mom. For me, even just going back to another point of like things that people probably didn't notice or not paying attention to, Laura in this space, by having this betrayal by Billy, gives Olivia somebody else to like take care of or to step in and help save. So this is on brand with her personality, even if early in this episode she was on the borderline of crossing the line and jeopardizing her sobriety based on the news and how she was feeling and all of the things that are going on in her head around Billy's secret coming out. You could see that she really valued her mom and their relationship. But like I said, everybody is kind of in a disarray. Asher, is tucking in his dad, who was passed out drunk on the couch. He still has to figure out what he's going to do. I think the words that Olivia gave to him are still resonating of like he can only do but so much with his father. And then still in Crenshaw, Coop walks up to her apartment and she sees Preacher shot on the corner. And we don't necessarily know the parameters around what happened or how it happened, but this is definitely going to be a real thing. So everybody's in pretty much disarray except for Spencer by the end of this episode. And it really sets us up to go into a dynamic and drama-filled season finale. If you're new here, I'm Erica Van and I post new All-American videos every day, sometimes twice a day. You should really join the tribe by hitting subscribe. I freaking love y'all so much. I'm so glad that you have been enjoying season 1. If you're returning, because I've seen your comments, if you post a comment, I will be replying to it. So drop a comment with your thoughts, theories, and feelings on episode 15 in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, shop the Erica Van TV merch shop. We have new All-American inspired merch as well as our other TV series that we are covering. We have merch coming for them as well. I'm so excited for all of the things coming down the pipe so that you can show your love for your favorite television shows and your favorite characters by rocking it on your chest, on your back, on your pants, on your sleeve. Go to ericabane.com/shop and check out the merch shop. You made it all the way to the end of this video, so go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to catch up on any of my season 1 All-American coverage, I have my playlist link for you on screen right now. And all of my season 3 coverage is linked in the All About All-American playlist, so you can also get into that. It's your good sis Erica Vane. I love you. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you in the next amazing All-American video.